Odyssey proves woke is a feature, not a bug. Badger, you have notes for this story. I'll bring it up on screen here, and we'll share the link with everyone as well. But here it is.
Despite occasional claims that woke is over in Hollywood, I believe it is still deeply embedded in the industry and in broader progressive culture. Casting choices in the Odyssey, particularly Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy and Elliot Page returning in the film, as examples of what I see as performative ideological casting that reignites culture war debates rather than simply focusing on entertainment. These casting choices are cultural tests where audiences are pressured to either accept them without criticism or risk being labeled intolerant. Modern Hollywood increasingly prioritizes political signaling, progressive activism, and status within elite cultural circles over storytelling and audience connection. I compare today's Hollywood environment to the old Hays Code era, saying both systems attempt to enforce an idealized moral version through filmmaking. In my view, the difference is that older Hollywood reflected conservative Christian values, while the modern woke code centers progressive ideology, diversity mandates, and activism against traditional power structures. Hollywood has become disconnected from mainstream audiences, focusing more on appearing morally virtuous than creating universally appealing entertainment. Films increasingly feel shaped by ideological expectations, awards politics, and activist pressure rather than organic creative choices. At the same time, I defend Lupita Nyong'o personally, saying she is being unfairly placed at the center of a cultural battle she did not create. I recall meeting her early in her career and describe her as a kind and genuine, while arguing that the industry is using her casting symbolically for broader political messaging. The dissatisfaction with Hollywood's direction could create opportunities for AI-generated entertainment and independent creators outside the traditional studio system. AI creators may eventually bypass Hollywood's ideological and financial gatekeeping by making content focused purely on what audiences want to watch rather than what cultural elites want audiences to embrace. Ultimately, I conclude that the debate around the Odyssey is more about than one movie. To me, it reflects a larger cultural struggle over politics, representation, entertainment, and who gets to shape mainstream culture moving forward.
I think the thing is, we didn't expect this coming from Nolan. He's not super, I would say politically, he's very much a centrist. He's very based. He's common sense. But do you think the reason people are overreacting, whatever you think, do you think it's because how could Nolan be compromised? Is that what it is?
I think what people are tired of is just the fact that we're tired. You know, like we have,
right.
Look, I made a decision a while back. I'm not going to reward this kind of behavior anymore. I don't care if it's a movie I've been dying to see. If they keep pulling this shit, I'm just not going to go. I'm not going to give them my dollars and give them my approval for this kind of shit anymore. I will literally wait for the Odyssey to come on streaming and watch it that way, you know, because I have like a certain kind of bootleg box. So I'll do it that way, but I'm not going to reward this shit anymore. And I think a lot of people are feeling this way. Now, the thing with Lupita, I agree with him to a certain degree. I think she probably does know what's fucking going on with the culture war and all this other stuff.
This is, bro, you knew what you were signing up for.
But here's the problem with this,
right.
You know, and I've said this to a lot of people, man. We got to stop expecting actors who have mortgages and bills to pay. We got to stop expecting them not to take roles, right? They're going to take the role no matter what. You know why? Because they're going to get paid no matter what. So they're going to take the role. Studios are the ones that need to feel this pain. They're the ones that need to, you know, see our message, because they're the ones dropping money, right? Now, a movie like The Odyssey, which again, what is it? 400 million? Is that the budget?
I don't know.
There's a chance they might make profit. There's a chance, right? The weird thing is when you're talking Chris Nolan, it shouldn't be a might. It's like Chris Nolan is bankable until he's not. And I think Nolan is not doing himself any favors by leaning into this, because now his credibility is being put on display, right? It's being put in question. So
the budget is $250 million. That's relatively cheap.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not bad. So it'll probably make some profit. And like I said, it'll probably do well its first week. But I think after that, the drop off is going to be wild after that first week.
It's going to have to be exciting and interesting to get your regular people to go see it. And that's the thing that I'm not getting from the trailers, which I mentioned earlier, is every trailer I see, I'm just like, this just looks very blah outside of all of this weird casting stuff. And so I'm just curious as to like what it's going to generate if it's not blowing people's minds and it's just this very kind of sedentary, sterile thing that it feels
people
like
are
it
only
is.
they're only seeing it because it's Chris Nolan.
Right.
Like if I was just, hey man, here's a movie, here's the trailer for the Odyssey. You want to watch this? I probably would have said no. What is this? This doesn't look interesting. Oh, it's directed by Chris Nolan. Oh, all right. Well, maybe, all right, I'll give it a shot. That's how most people are probably looking at this. And so they'll walk in because they trust Chris Nolan to, deliver an entertaining film. It's only 2 hours, so it's not going to be this long epic or anything like that. So I think a lot of people will go give it a shot just because it's Chris Nolan. But to the point of the person that wrote the article, Lupita Nyong'o is absolutely being used as an ideological, pawn piece for DEI. And if actors want to step into that arena for the check, that's on them. But if she's getting, dragged all over social media and everybody's talking shit about her looks and everything, hey, man, you signed up for that. That's what you chose to do. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. I personally would say, you know what? I think I got enough money. I don't need to jump into some ideological war just to prove some point. Let some other actor do that. I'm not doing it. That's me. Okay.
Let's not
if
take
I
their
had
agency
that bread
away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the sad part is they cast her because she was black and not because she's a good actress.
Right.
Derek, I hear what you're saying, but you also can't expect her to say no to a Chris Nolan movie starring Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, all these major actors. She's not going to turn that down. Like,
there's no way.
Now, here's the thing. To her credit, I don't hear her bitching about any of this.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen one thing from her.
Yeah.
And to her credit, she's been quiet because she's taking her lumps. We got to give her that, right? Because she could be very vocal right now, and she's not.
By the way,
no, she's doing better than Black Snape because Black Snape is on. Oh man, they're talking about me. They're talking about me so bad, and it's like, bro, you signed up for this. Like, I don't want to hear it, man. You signed up for this. You knew the job was dangerous when you took it. All right, don't give me that crap. But yeah, because she's not saying anything, to her credit, cool. But like I said, this is what I hate about it is that they're just casting her just because she's black. And just because they want to use her as some sort of a ideological stance, Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman ever. Oh, Lupita Nyong'o.
I don't think I noticed any in the past. I could be wrong. Lupita Nyong'o going off like that on any.
No, she doesn't do that.
In fact, she there's a story about her and Harvey Weinstein and how she rebuffed him. Didn't care about him. I think the actress, you cannot blame the actors. You're right, Dante. They're taking a paycheck. It's when they speak out and make it worse. That's when it starts to really suck.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, for the record, I think you can absolutely fucking blame the actors.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I don't blame them for taking a paycheck, but you're right. Like the Black Snake, we'll see how that. I think that's going to ruin the new Harry Potter TV series.
By the way, it doesn't even have to be a conspiracy.
They know what they're auditioning for, the role that they're auditioning for. They know that this role could possibly get them some heat, some backlash. They're even told beforehand when they're cast in the role, look at Star Wars. You might get some backlash over here. You might get some back. They know that, and they willingly take on the role anyways, regardless of the script, regardless of the story, regardless of the history behind the story or whatever, how it's written. They still take on the role. They also
believe goofy shit. Like the actress who played Cleopatra, even though Cleopatra comes from the line of Alexander and Mason done all that, she probably really does think that Cleopatra was a fine Nubian princess. I would not be surprised if Lupita really does think that Northern Africa had such a huge thing on that you know what I'm saying? They can do amazing jujitsu in their head.
Maybe her 8th grade teacher was Sonny Hostin from The View.
You're right.
Like, I'm not even joking.
Hey, man, Helen of Troy was black.